to push the magic button.
Consider it pushed.
Oh, okay. Hey, good evening, everybody, and people who are joining us and so forth. I suspect that we have, I think, about 22 or 23 people registered, so should have a nice group tonight. This is the Sunday night webinar. You can see the numbers there, February 25th, 2018. Time is flying. I'm Gene Colbago.
And I am on your left, Roger Carroll.
Yes, very good. And we're glad to have you back. My voice took a beating last week, and the audience was very, very nice to listen without throwing things and sending nasty messages. So I thank you for doing that, those people who were with us last week. I got some interesting things for you tonight, we hope. And if you have any questions, concerns, anything at all, please, again, don't hesitate to send a message, raise your hand, whatever. Roger, I will try to be watching the screen there to see what's happening, and we'll try to get you there. Hey, something that we talked about while we're on the show here, the PowerPoints. Just a reminder, I'm sure that some of you have seen this before. We've talked about, the updates and so forth to PowerPoint and things that are coming along. But there are certain things that you can add to your PowerPoints to make them a little bit better, or things that you might want to use yourself. And I found one that might be useful to you. Thought I'd just show it to you. To do this, when you're have your PowerPoint running, go to Insert, and going across, you'll see one called Store. And then underneath it, My Add-ins. And these are little things that you're adding in to PowerPoint yourself to make your own PowerPoint better for you, to individualize it a little bit. And if you click on the Store, it'll go to My Add-ins. And actually, I think they're at this. Oh, I'm sorry, it's at the Store now. Not My Add-ins. And I usually get down to Education to see if they've added anything, and they do add things quite often. One that was interesting, it's a website that we talked about, and I kind of liked what happened to it, what they did. For those of you who are math or science teachers, these, well, two add-ins might be very, very useful to you. And as you can see them right here, it's called CK Science Resources. They're Common Core, they're free, they're great. It's a great site. It's been very highly rated, very highly recommended by very many people. So you might want to try. All you need to do when you go to an add-in is just click on, let's do the science one. I'm not sure if it'll say loading, and then all of a sudden this pops up, okay? You have now added it in, and if you look at it, you have added basically the web page right onto your, right onto your PowerPoint page. Now you can, let's do a little search. Okay, I'm just, planet Earth, that sounds good. Atoms and molecules. And okay, and if you say, oh yeah, look, this is at grade, this is basic at grade, and if you click on it, you can go to the website if you need more information about what grade level and so forth and so on. You can click on that and find out. But I just wanted to show you how this works. We can just click Add, and onto this slide, you have added atoms to molecules, and it tells you what it's going to do. What is your brain made of? And it's actually got a whole lesson here. Parts of an atom. You should go down. I'm just going slowly. Ions, molecules, and it even has several videos built right in that you can then use. I think there's 2 videos, yeah, that you can, the students or you can use. And then down at the bottom, it does usually have some questions. And that, is a way of adding something very quickly to your PowerPoint. You can, on like one PowerPoint slide, have a whole class, a whole resource. Now, if you go to my add-ins, you'll see that I have added these. These are already there. So the next time I don't have to go to the store, I can just go to my add-ins, click on math resources. Oh, am I going to override it? Then hit add, and it will add it right over it. Okay, I made a mess, but just to show you how it works. Okay. Okay.
Gene,
That's how that works. Yes.
on your open your PowerPoint. You got your PowerPoint going, right?
Yes.
Okay, close that.
I'm going to delete this one. Okay, close
Okay.
what? This one?
Just
Yes.
go to a new slide. Or
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
I think it's working. It's working on mine.
Yes. Okay.
Now go to Office Mix.
Oh, Office Mix. Yes.
And then down where it says add a quiz. Second from the left. Quizzes.
Oh, quizzes and videos. Yes.
Click there.
Yes.
And that brings them all up. And it brings up that, and all of these things can be added in. And one of them, a couple of them at the bottom there, I don't know if it's because you just added
the same too. Yeah.
But they're on mine as well.
Yeah. Well, they're probably in 2 places. Yeah, there were questions down below.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then one that I haven't played with in a while, and I don't know why it's only got 2 stars, probably because you have to pay for it, is that Fluid Math.
Yeah, that
is,
probably is. Yeah.
That's an amazing program. But
I remember talking about, did you not talk about that at one time?
We had a presentation in the district by some Microsoft people, and he demoed that.
Okay, I remember hearing something about that.
Yeah, a while back. But but Office Mix is going away, unfortunately. So I think that add-in, we can still get to these resources.
Yeah, if you put these add-ins in, they will be there in your add-ins. Yeah, even though if Office Mix does go away, I would think so. Yeah. Well, let's try. I did the multiple choice. There it is. Okay. Boy, does that look a little bit like, yeah.
Yeah,
I think
it is.
It's starting to look a little bit like forms. Yeah, and I think that this is going to eventually be forms. Okay, but anyhow, now if I go to insert, go to my add-ins. Okay, where am I here? Why am I not going anywhere?
I think you have to get out of this.
Okay. Oh, there it is. See, recently used add-ins. See all. There it is. Multiple choice quiz.
Yeah.
So you can add those into your add-ins. Yes. Yeah. That works. Okay. Anyhow, I just while I was at PowerPoint, I thought I'd show that again. But and again, remind people that they can do that. Hey, you know what? I was going to do something tonight, and this morning. Oh boy, you know how you do things and then you say, wow, I accidentally went and used something and then I started using it and I said, hey, this is pretty good. So what I'd like to do is show you something tonight that I have half knowledge about. Okay, I have not used this a great deal. In fact, Roger and I probably have kind of poo-pooed it a little bit in favor of something else. We have been telling you, and I still will use my browser. Chrome browser is my major browser. But this morning I started looking at Edge, and it has a lot of classroom possibilities. And I thought, I was considering that some of our students who are maybe doing online research, there are some really good possibilities for it in here. So I'd just like to show you a tiny bit about Edge in case you're not using it, some of the things that you can do. first of all, I just loaded it in here, okay? This is Edge. It looks a little different. Mine is fairly basic. I've got a few bookmarks on my bookmark page or line here, but and a few sites that I've started just to show you things. And here's our school website, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Something else. Okay. All right. For some reason, I'm stuck on the biography of George Washington every time I want to go somewhere. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the nice things about Edge is the way you can present many pages, not all, many. If you were, for example, wanting to present a biography of George Washington, you know, this goes, of course, from top to bottom, you know, and it's got a lot of information and you'd have to keep scrolling. But in Edge, up on the address bar over on the right, there's a little book icon and it says Reading View. And if you click on that, all of a sudden, it turns a little bit different. It's giving you the same information in a reading view, okay? Now, also, for those of you, and I'm sure you remember, that Raj talked about the immersive reader in, I think it's in Word now, is it not? And it's mostly in
Word and PowerPoint.
Yeah, things like that.
OneNote, yeah.
Yeah, they're including it. They're including it in Edge, but there's one part that's missing to me. I'll show you in a minute. But anyhow, what he means by this, right here, if you click on this, you can adjust the text for people to view it better. If you want a bigger text, you can get some pretty grossly big text. And by the way, I forgot to show you that now, instead of going up to down, this page goes left to right, right to left, this way, okay? Now, I made it a much bigger font, so if you were showing it on your screen, on your smartboard, that would be pretty cool. Also, if you wanted to, you know, you have all this stuff up above it, you could go to, see the three little dots? There's a lot of things you can do here. You can, here, excuse me, I had something in the way. Have a little, in the zoom here, see the little up and down arrow? Full screen. And now you have a full screen version of this, okay? Which is pretty good, okay? You can also go in, change the background, and you won't see this, it's the theme. This is the normal white. There's a sepia, I don't know if you could see that. It turned mine just slightly.
Yeah, we could see it.
Yeah, just a little bit. And I think you talked about, Roger, about the fact that sometimes dyslexic, is it the dyslexic reader has a better opportunity to read, or better, it can read better when there's a black background with white print. Yeah. So you can do that just as well. The only thing that is not built into this is, guess what, Raj? The actual reading. And this is weird, and I don't know why, and I'm going to show you this. Let me go back to the normal size. This is, now to get out of the full screen, you can do two things. You can hit F11, or if you go to the top, I put my mouse at the top, it shows you a little window that, see the little thing right there? You click and you're out of it. I am going to click back, I hope, to the regular mode. And in the regular mode, I am going to, and I'll show you why I highlighted this before. I'm going to highlight those first two words. Just, I'll explain in a minute. And then I'm going to go into the three dots commands again. Notice it says read aloud. George Washington. And now you can't hear that, but it's reading it.
We could hear it.
You could hear it?
Yeah, if you highlight some more.
No, I'm just going to start reading it.
Okay.
First American president, commander of the Continental Army, president of the Constitutional Convention, and gentleman planner.
Okay.
Yeah, you can.
Really? That's interesting.
Well, I think we're hearing it through. What are you playing it through? Because I
have my headphones are on. I'm hearing it out of my headphones.
Oh, well, I don't think I'm the only one hearing voices, but
well, you heard different. The ones I hear are different ones, anyhow.
Yeah. No, we could. Anyhow, actually, and the voice sounded like one of the better.
That's
robotic voices, if you want to.
Yeah, it was. Here's Mark. That's Mark. Yeah. But if you like, if you can hear Zira.
Yeah. George Washington, first American president. Yeah, Mark is even better than who's the other one? David?
David, yeah. I think Mark's
gone to school longer.
Yeah, okay. And also, while you're in here, you can change the speed, okay, of the presentation.
George Washington, first American president.
Okay, that's kind of cool. Now, the problem is in this whole thing, when you go to the booklet version and go to read, it's grayed out. And I don't know why. That bothered me today. I worked on it for quite some time. So let's just
point that out one more time. I'm a little slow here.
Okay, here's the...
Okay.
There's the... This is... Excuse me one second till kill my phone here. Okay. My daughter's sending me a text. I'm sorry. This is the normal version. Is this what you wanted to see? All you need to do is go up here.
Right, but when you hit the book icon or the reading icon, whatever they call it, that read option doesn't appear.
Yeah, it does not appear. Huh. And I don't know why. It would seem to be a very good one.
By the way, the reverse.
Yeah. By the way, the reason I highlighted George here, because if I just went to read aloud,
yeah,
I'm here. I don't want to hear calendar, shop, restaurant, buy tickets. Yeah, that's why I started down there. You can highlight where you want it to start. Okay. Now, what's a couple of other nice things about Edge is it really presents itself as a nice, I think, how should I put, a research tool, or if you as a teacher are planning to show 3 or 4 sites, like you want to show them sometime, and you don't have a chance to get them all started up on the top, you don't have to. Okay, I'm going to go to another one right here. This is the Wikipedia George Washington, just to show you. And what you can do to get to it real quickly, again, go over here. And if you notice the pin this page to the taskbar, there it is. Notice how it popped up down here? You can put your websites like down there, and you'll have them ready for when you need them in your class. I think that's pretty cool. And of course, when you're done, you can right click and just unpin them. You can also, if you want, I may have done this already, pin this to the start page. Okay. Now, if you're wondering, what do you mean by start page? The start page is this little guy here. And it should be, there it is right there, George Washington Wikipedia. Okay, you can do that too. It makes it a little bit easier, I think. Like if you were trying to set up a class and you wanted to show 2 or 3 sites, that would be cool. Now, what's even nicer is as you prepare for this, let's go down a little bit here. Okay, George Washington's father. Well, what if you wanted, for example, Augustine Washington? You wanted that name like to stand out, or you wanted the kid, I'm going to close that off, the kids to, maybe I want the kids to do a little research on that. Okay, what you can do is to, where am I here? you can go to the Add Notes. Excuse me, I didn't see it for a second and I panicked. I apologize. This is awfully cool too. This is the Add Notes. And as you can see, you have a ballpoint pen, a highlighter, and this is kind of an interesting one here. You got the touch writing. This needs to be on to use these pens. So when this is on, I can, okay, highlight Augustine, Washington, okay. Now, if I want, I can add a note, all right. Okay, now, if that note is not in the proper place, I found out that you have to grab the number to drag it around, okay? Okay, and you can add notes here. Now, once you get done with that, oh, by the way, there's an eraser there in case you make a mistake. You can save it and to OneNote, okay? Raj, I think you're going to be talking about that. Will that be okay?
Yeah.
You just click on Save to OneNote. Okay, I save it to my little, and it's been saved. And if I go to OneNote, it will be there in my quick notes. Okay, what did I just do? I don't know what I just did. I apologize. Web notes. Huh. I must have clicked on something. I apologize. Okay. Anyhow, let's do something else here, real quickly here. Okay, you can do that. Now, how shall I do this? May I just have a minute to redo something? I'm going to do the highlight again. I just want to show you that. Okay, you can draw lines. You can highlight. Okay. And you can put some notes in. When those are done, you can save them in different ways. Now, I know what happened. Our little control panel got in the way, Raj. Let me go back here. I can go to the reading list. You say, what's the reading list? This is a cool thing for students who are doing research. They can create a reading list of sites that they may want to go back to, okay? All right, I'm just going to click this. All right, I've got that. Just to show you another thing, if I go here, maybe I'm going here, maybe I'm not. Boy, that's slow. What's going on? Anyhow, I can if I want to put a note in, I could click note, add notes here. If I wanted to just say, you know what, that's a great site, I want to save it to my reading list for later, I can click on the little red symbol, little yellow star, and click on reading list again, hit add, and it's there. Now you're going to say, hey, that's cool, but where's my reading list? Your reading list is right here. There it is. Those are the sites, and they will take me. Notice now, if I go to here, it even has those markups that I put on there. It saves them. That's, you know, I think pretty useful.
Can you go back one screen?
Okay, I can.
Into your reading notes.
Oh, okay, I can go into my reading notes, yes.
Okay, now you've got at the top on your,
yes,
right above the words reading list.
Yes.
To the right.
I'm going to go through those, yes.
Okay.
This one over, okay, these, yeah, this is very useful, yeah. This is your bookmark favorites, okay? This little guy here is a cool thing, and it really kind of saves you time getting places. This is your bookmarks. If you've added it or want to go to a bookmark, you can just click right here. This is your reading list, of course. This is books that you've downloaded. I'm not going to go to the shop and buy books right now.
That's, so I wanted to see that one, and then the next two.
This next one over is also very useful. Have you ever gone to a page and then 10 minutes later say, what the heck was that page? This is the history. And that's how fast you can get to it. This is where I've been today. Okay? And I thought that's pretty cool. This is the downloads, like if you've gone and downloaded a file from another site or whatever. That's the download, okay?
And then the little symbol to the extreme right there is where you can pin that and make that open all the time?
Yes, stay open on the time, so when I click here, it doesn't go away. Yes, exactly. Exactly. So that's, that's pretty interesting.
I'm going to go to a very, very basic question here.
Thank you.
No, because at the bottom of the taskbar, you have the edge symbol, the E.
Yes.
People are seeing in Windows 10 the Internet Explorer E.
Yes. Yes.
And if you're not really paying attention, you may not distinguish one from the other.
Yeah, notice, and here it says open with Internet Explorer.
Right.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. What I think I would do is go over to your programs, go to the letter E, and make sure Edges, it should be an E. It's not there.
Well, it's right there in your start menu.
Yeah, it's in your start menu. Yeah. But if it's not, it's in the Windows area. Okay.
Right.
It's in the Windows area. That's where it is. Okay. So it's there. Now, another thing that is kind of cool, Raj and I do this all the time. You know, when you have like 15 different tabs open up here and you wanna, it's a mess, you can clean it up without losing them. I'm not sure I made that correct, but notice over here, to the far left, there are two little blocks. One says, set these tabs aside. I don't know if you can read that. And if I click on this, they're gone. But they're not exactly erased. I have not closed them, because the far left shows the ones that I had. I hit restore tabs and they're back. So that's just another nice thing that I saw, and I thought that was kind of cool too. Lastly, let's see if I can do this. I hope you can all read this carefully. There's a test on this in a minute. Okay. This is a German site. It's in German. Well, boy, that made sense. Now, what is nice is you can add an extension that goes right up here. Click here. I want to go from German. I don't want to go to Spanish. I want to go to, if I can find it, English. Translate. Boom. There it is in English. That's kind of cool. Very quickly translates it. Is it perfect? I don't know. I don't know. Okay? I have to admit. Now,
interesting choice of website, Stupidpedia.
Yeah, what it is it's supposedly articles. They find Wikipedia articles that have mistakes in them, and that's why they call it Stupidpedia. And they are posting them here. That's why they call it Stupidpedia. Okay. It's detect information in Wikipedia. One last thing, and then I got to let you talk, Raj. Notice this is in English. What if I wanted to, or if I had somebody who speaks another language? How's that? That went pretty quickly, I thought.
Yeah, all instant, really.
Yeah. Now, to do this, this is not immediately in Edge. What you do is you just go here. I'm sorry, I have something in the way here. I have to move. I'm sorry. If you go here and then click on extensions and then get extensions from the store, and this one is the translator. And you notice that symbol is one that you will find in many Office 365 tools. And there are a number of tools. You know, I haven't really looked through them, and some of them look a little iffy, I'll be honest with you. But you know, you can go in here, and if you can't find the one you want, you can always do a search, you know, and it will install it as it did here. And then you might have to go into this and make sure that it's turned on. But once it's turned on, it's pretty cool, and it's pretty fast too. And I think that's part of the Office, you know, the Office 365 translator that we were showing you in Word and other tools just a while ago. So, you know, I'm not saying that I am going to become a converted Edge user, but there are some aspects here that that are pretty good that I think we could use, right, Raj? There's some things
I think we need to know. We teachers then show our students the capabilities of this. Why are we pretty much dedicated to Chrome? And what are those reasons versus are there any advantages to Edge? Now, of course, with Windows 10 operating system, they keep pushing Edge at us, saying it's faster, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it's also built into some of their tools when you're searching for images, like Bing, the search engine in Edge, and
I forgot one, Raj. I forgot to show you one other thing. Thank you. If I may?
Yeah, sure.
Down in the lower left, the type here to search. Well, I don't like to type. Most of us have a microphone. This is also connected to Cortana. Is that the name? Well, there's so many names out there, I'm not sure anymore. And if I do this and George Washington, I don't want that. Okay. Niagara Falls City School District.
I'd be glad to help you find that place. As soon as you sign in, I can get started.
What do you mean sign in? I've been signed in and using you all day. Okay. For some reason it says I'm not signed in right now. But what it does is it will allow you to do a verbal search, and it will bring up, you know, whatever search engine you have on here. I use Google, so it usually brings up Google, and I can use that also. Okay. Hey, Raj, thank you very much for allowing me to talk so much, but I just thought that this was kind of cool. And, you know, students might be able to use this to do some research, save them in the reading list. You know, they can save that, come back, and they've got their reading list saved, their site saved, that they can then save some time in doing their research. Okay? And with that, I'm going to change the presenter. I'm not really going to change him. I'm just going to let him present.
You can change me all you like.
Okay, Raj, you should have the screen, and we see you. Well, we see your screen.
We're looking at an old friend, New York Learns. But before I even get there, I think the underlying theme here, and though we didn't collaborate on it, is research. And I want to show you, this is my OneNote. Again, and we have to keep reminding, I have to keep reminding myself, so, is that there are two versions of OneNote that you get. The online version that you get in Office 365, and the installed version is called OneNote 216. What we're doing now is we're looking at one of my OneNote notebooks. And I often have, when I have them on my screen, I'm okay, now make sure I understand which one it is. One of the versions puts your tabs or your folders over here on the left. Another version will show them up on the right, over on this side of the screen. And I don't know why it does that, but it happens to. What I was doing, I want to go back to New York Learns in a second. I started looking at some curriculum, and I wanted to take advantage of one of the tools that Gene touched on a little bit here on doing some research. And I went into my New York Learns, and I've been signed in, so I'm not going to sign out. I'm going to go to My New York Learns, and we still have access to all of this. What we are not doing is using our New York Learns accounts to build websites. Your websites, if you had one, still exist. Mine still exists, but I've pretty much brought everything that I want over to the school wires, the district's website, and so on. But what we still have, and we'll have at least for the remainder of the school year, and they're deciding whether or not to go forward, is this is where your curriculum resides. And the district, as they go through the cycles of curriculum renewal, et cetera, for all the grades and the subject areas and so on, are putting the curriculum right now within New York Learns. So when you are signed in to your New York Learns account, the curriculum that you're looking at are district curriculum maps. New York Learns is throughout New York State, here and there, and Long Island and different places, and those districts have their own district approved and developed curriculum up within New York Learns as well. So if we look at, because you're signed in, your account is associated with the Niagara Falls School District, there are curriculum maps here for all of the curriculum areas for all of the grade levels. So now that this is highlighted, that's where the curriculum maps are that I can access. And it's just a simple follow the yellow brick road here, make some basic changes. You can pick a grade level, elementary, which would take you through early elementary, the intermediate grades. You can go on up into high school and so on. You can also select a specific standard area. So what I did was I picked intermediate, and I selected a subject area, English Language Arts, New York State, pre-K to 12, the Common Core area. And then click the search, and then all of the related documents appear below. And then we've done this, so we've shown you this before. I'm sure you're somewhat familiar with it. But now that, okay, this is where they all are, so you can search them out here. But what if you don't teach 6th grade? What if you don't teach 7th grade, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, 8th grade, and so on? I only want to look at maybe grade 5, 3rd quarter. English Language Arts, Literacy, and the Common Core. So what you do is you come over to the right. You can click on, you can look at it here. You don't have to do anything else to look at it. But you want to say, okay, I want that. I don't want to have to search for it all the time. use the plus button, and you add it to my curriculum. And you can do that for each of the quarters and where they exist. Another key thing to look for is last modified date. And it pretty much coincides with the last revision curriculum cycle. So you'll see some from the last school year, last summer, etc. A lot of curriculum work was going on, some committee work and so on. So you can look and see, okay, there's 217. Some are the most recent one I did pick this. I looked at a number of 217s and so on. And of course, as you know, you're in a district that this is an ongoing cycle of revision, renewal, etc. So, but I click that plus button. Now I have it in my curriculum maps. So these are ones that I've added to my portfolio, and I just picked a couple here. Here's the one that I picked earlier when I was pursuing this. Notice it says it was modified 2/25/18. Well, that's today's date. The curriculum was not modified on Sunday in 2018. It's when I added it. Okay, and what you can now do is, because you've put it into your portfolio, you can edit it. You can search through it. You can even get rid of it if you want. You can make a copy of it. And if you want to, you can look at the original map and so on. So what I did was, okay, now let's take a closer look at this. What's going on in the third quarter in the ELA literacy in your Common Core grade 5 quarter 3? That's in our Falls School District. That's us. It was last updated a little over a year and a half ago. So I started scrolling through here. Notice, and I'm sure if you're in this area or in elementary, you're familiar with what a lot of this looks like. Here are, the standards. And in fact, you'll notice as you hover over it, it tells you exactly what that standard is. Notice when you hover, it pops up, quote, accurately from a text when explaining, blah, 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 and so on. Smartboard slides, okay, fairly complete here. And if you scroll all the way over to the right, there's reference to assessments. And if we had clicked the edit button for this, you would be able to add notes for teaching that particular unit, that particular lesson, that particular part of your curriculum as well. So I went over, I started going down here, because I wanted to find something that I can do and share in my OneNote in the third quarter, and it's somewhere. Here it is. I took it and I took it out here. Let's see. And it's in, well, let's talk about author studies and so on. Reference to the MeQuest learning.com projects that everyone is asked to participate in and so on. So what I did is I took that and I brought some of the essence of that into my OneNote, and I created Social Studies Grade 5 Quarter 3. There's a reference in the curriculum for an on-demand essay. The following question: what makes a hurricane a natural disaster? Okay, so this is borrowed from an assessment, and obviously prior to this question being posed, open-ended essay, there would have been some teaching and learning, etc., regarding just what is a natural disaster, was a hurricane, and so on. Down here, and this is where we're getting close to what Gene was just talking about on the research tool. Now I'm in my OneNote. I am not in a class notebook. This is just, and in fact, I was in a second grade class a couple weeks ago where they're working in a OneNote. A lot of hand-holding going on, but second graders are doing it. But notice here is the essay. But what if we wanted to do some, say, class sharing of some research, or you had a group of kids in the 5th grade who are certainly capable of collaborating and working within OneNote. Let's do some research on this. In OneNote, very similar looking toolbar or ribbon or whatever you want to call it to most of the Microsoft products. On the Insert tab, down here, all the way over to the right, there's a Researcher option. And it's similar in, I guess, design, or at least similar in thinking to what's going on in Edge. So if I click on Researcher, another side panel opens up with a search engine. Notice down here that this search engine is powered by Bing. That means it's a Microsoft. It's not a Google search. And because it's built into the school products, there's a, I don't want to say authenticity to it, but say a little more validation going on, because this whole area is dedicated to use in education. Okay, so we're going to put in a search term, but notice down here, powered by Bing, here's the universal symbol now for settings and so on. So you can change some of the settings. I'm not going to get into any of that right now. Maybe we do a little deeper dive in another session managing these. And I think, Gene, looking at Edge and some of its possibilities, we really need to know which tool is going to give us the best end product, whether it's research in the class. We use an awful lot of Chrome in the district for lots of reasons. Some mainly compatibility with some other things that are going on with Symbaloo and so on, some of those research sites and so on. But in notice on the tab here, here's a search bar. If I just put in hurricanes and I hit the enter key, notice what's happening. It says relevant topics, and this is kind of like the feeling lucky option in Google when you do a Google search. But here it talked about a cyclone. But down here, top sources for hurricanes. Now the default is all, but if you want some journal articles about hurricanes, you'd click it here. If you want websites, there, the National Hurricane Center website here, tropical tracking and so on. And this is all scrollable down here, all of the responses. And if you want one of these, now I've clicked a couple of these already, that's why these are here. The National Hurricane Center website is already over here. But that's what happens when you click the little plus button. Let's look at some historical hurricane tracks. I click it here. Now we have, well, I'll put it up here. Actually, it puts it where, I don't know if I can undo that. I want to put the cursor down here, and then I hit the plus button. It appears down here. It also, when you do this, see this tab up here, My Research. This is where it collects, not probably as neat and cleanly as the Edge one is doing with the reader panel and so on. But if you click on My Research, and I've been playing around with this for a couple of days with literacy and some other topics, but it puts them all over here. And these are, the nice thing is, these are right now automatically saved. So I created a tab. Here's the quick notes. That's the default, where you could throw anything and everything into a OneNote notebook. You can do it from your Chrome browser. You can do it from your Edge browser. You can do it from your smartphone. I do this all the time if I'm just looking at Twitter or looking at some feeds there. I can send things to my OneNote, and within a second or two, they're synced. And that's where a lot of these things have come. But I created a special page Again, think of OneNote as a 3-ring binder. Think of these as a tab of a section within your 3-ring binder, and you can drag and drop them, put them in any order. They don't automatically sort alphabetically. So I have Social Studies Grade 5, and I added a page that deals now with this topic that we might be working with in class. And I think what we're going to find what we can do with students when we are comfortable using this tool, because now students can collaborate within this. People could be looking up, how is a cyclone different from a hurricane? Why is there a different terminology there? Or any research topic. If we wanted to go back here, and let's borrow, say, something from Gene here. Let's put in George Washington. And we want to do some research on George Washington. So I'm going to go over here and go back into my research. Here, let's see what we come up with, Gene. I didn't spell George right. I probably ought to do that.
Yeah, maybe you would have found somebody good.
Grigor.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so let's hit the enter. Okay, now it's searching. There's some relevant topics. Now you could broaden your search, use different terms and so on. This is about gives you this, and now this is some relevant topics. You can do something. Okay, this was not a good response, so you could report that. But here we are down here. Now I want journal articles, or I just want to see websites about George Washington. George Washington and the Native Americans. George Washington History.org, .gov. And one of the things we're teaching students, and we really need to be doing that, is what's the difference between a .gov and a .com, a .edu, a .net, etc. And notice I didn't specify. You could specify George Washington Carver. Oh, okay. So we're going to add something. I want to add that over here. Notice pops up immediately over here. And all of these are hyperlinks as well. And here is the reference automatically where this site was taken from. So we can do some research here. And now I've got, in my social studies, I've got an essay tab that I might be gathering some background information. And this, I think, is taking the maybe the dealing with plagiarism to let's have students understand. I know you don't know anything about hurricanes. I don't want to know what you know. I want to know what the research says about hurricanes, or what what the historical documents are, or the references are for George Washington, and so on. Students don't have to go out, type a footnote, blah blah, do all of that stuff. They can just take it here, or say if you're doing this in a classroom, you could prepare a page using these references. Write me a 5-paragraph composition or essay about George Washington, about natural disasters and hurricanes, using this information. So it's already cited. Students learn the skills of doing summaries and citing and whatnot right there, because it's all right here for them. We know this is a vital thing they have to learn and understand and appreciate for doing research, for finding answers to questions that we pose them, and so on. So again, this is OneNote is, I think, really kind of like the essence of Office 365 from the student standpoint. They've already had PowerPoint. They've already had Word. Some of them, to some extent, have already worked with Excel. Okay, that's in and out of Office 365. Now you've got an online thing called OneNote, and whether you're using a class notebook, whether you're using a feature called Teams, and you can build in, notice here, insert a Microsoft form into this. So we're seeing more and more of this, and I think, Gene, we're going to dig a little deeper into, oh, what would this look like? So if I'm going to use a form, this allows me to create one right here and now. So I can create a new one, a new quiz, and so on, based on maybe the information that you've pre-populated in this OneNote page. And let's talk about, okay, what are some of the things we want them to look for? Maybe do a pre-quiz on it. What do they already know? And so on. So you can see how all of this is merging, and look at all the other things we can do. We can do some audio. Well, I'm going to go to the view, and then down here, there's your immersive reader again. So you could gather some information for those kids who might need some extra help. This could be where it's read to them. And you have those same options that Gene was showing up in Edge. But within OneNote, you can dig a little deeper. You can say, combine this or blend this lesson because it's a composition. Okay, there's some ELA. Let's take a look at all the adjectives that are used in this passage, or the verbs and so on, and do a little bit more with that and have this read to you. I noticed there's a few other options here that I'm going to get into, but not tonight. Okay. So we've got a lot going on here. I didn't even get Gene to probably the other three things I wanted to talk about. But I think we hit two of the big things with Microsoft, with Office 10, or Microsoft 10, the Office tools, and these tools, whether it's PowerPoint online or not, Office Mix, part of it, the add-in tool right now for PowerPoint, and going back and forth with this. And so there's a whole lot of things that we can do, and I think we're going to highlight for a few weeks some of the different options within this. But I would strongly recommend that people go sign on to your Office 365, take a look at OneNote, start playing around with it. Add pages, add sections, add whatever you want. And I'm just going to take this down here. Now, this is the Chrome browser. If I want to put, I don't know why I would, but I'll say, for example, I want to put, you know what? I have 2 minutes, Gene. Here is, we talk about a real world connection. Here is a whole website devoted to projects that students can use that touch base with the real world. But if I want to add that into a OneNote page, I go up here. This clip to OneNote. I'm going to clip it. This is an extension in my Chrome browser. I'm just going to clip it as a bookmark. And notice I'm going to put it in my, where are we here? I want to put it on that page. Let's say Social Studies Grade 5. I'm going to clip it. And for another minute, I want to view it in my OneNote if it's there already. This is OneNote Online. It's going to take that website, put it into, here it is right here. And it put it into, now there's what we were just talking about. It's syncing it right now, but the George Washington. And this is where you can go in and make some, it's a whole database of projects that have real world connections, and it's searchable by grade level, topic area, and so on. And I'm going to come back to that next week and take a closer look at that. And with that, it's, believe it or not,
a magic hour. And guess what? We didn't do. We kind of mentioned that we were going to look at photo a little bit tonight, and we didn't. And I apologize.
None of that too.
Yeah,
and talk about it.
Next week we'll talk. We'll talk photo and some other good things. So we want to thank you for joining us tonight. Don't forget the thank you email to open it up. and to click on the survey and complete the survey. It's just a minor little thing, but it does help us. And have a great week, and we hope to see you next Sunday. And if we can be of any help, drop us an email.
Yeah,
okay.
Turning the page on winter, I hope.
Oh, I hope so too.
Entering into March, and maybe we'll have some madness. We'll spread some of that. Okay.
Okay. And with that, good night, everybody.
Yes. Good night, everyone.